Hey, book reader friends. I hope you are having a beautiful summer, and I hope that your TBRs are just absolutely filled with 5 stars and that you are enjoying your reading experience this summer and this year. Today, we are going to talk about my TBR for the month of August and potentially some projected reads for the remainder of the year. Some that I definitely want to get in this year to meet my goal of starting the series that are on my physical TBR on my shelves. I have so many series that are on my shelves that I have never even started. So this year, my goal was to start at least book 1 of every series I own. We are now in a time crunch because I'm falling a little behind. Let's dive into what the August TBR is and a few that I would like to get in August, but then throughout the year also. Some that are on my shelves that are really important that I go ahead and get started this year. Let's dive in. Okay, the first one is With a Vengeance by Riley Sager. I have discovered Riley Sager in the past 3 years that I have been pushing reading goals for myself. I've read since I was little, been a huge reader. And just in the last few years, though, have I been adding goals for myself. And because of that, I have discovered Riley Sager through other YouTubers and I'm not going to say that I have fallen in love, but there's an endearment to his writing that I do enjoy. So we are trying anything that he puts out for now and seeing if that stays true. And so far, this one has been great because there is a setup to everyone that has done her family wrong, and she wants to get a little payback. She has brought them on this train, and it is going to Chicago. There is no notes of the return, so I would say there's probably no projection on a return. I'm guessing then this should technically end in murder. We're gonna see, because Riley Sager has an infamous way of letting you think you know how something's gonna end and totally screwing it all up. So we're gonna say that about Riley Sager's writing. And let's move on to book number 2 that I've also already started this month. Okay, book number 2 is No One Can Know. This one has been on my book of the month TBR for some time. Let's see when it was put out, actually. 2023, and I probably got it somewhere around that time. In fact, I even have Christmas stickers. They didn't come with this as far as I can remember. Yeah, it did. I'm lying. These did come with the book of the month that month. So that's kind of cool. Downside of not reading the books when you get them, because I didn't even know it had stickers in there. Didn't remember. But yeah. This has been great so far. I am doing this one on audiobook, even though I have the physical book. I know, it's awful. But I'm doing this one through Libby. It has been an enjoyable read, or listen, I should say. It would probably rank in the top 10 of audiobooks for this year because it's so relaxing. I can literally, yesterday I was laying in my hammock in the garage because it's too hot in the state of Texas to go directly out in the sun. So I put my hammock in the garage on a portable stand I have and just laid out there and listened to it. And I'm really thoroughly enjoying it. It does have a resemblance of another book I read, and I cannot remember what that book was. And I've been kind of shocked about that to the point where I was like, have I read this one already? I've done that before. There's one where there's 4 or 5 women go into a cabin, someone's trying to get revenge, and it had a vibe that I kept picking up. I was like, hey, I've already read this. I had to keep putting that book down. This book had a similar vibe, but the more I keep reading it, I'm like, no, it just happens to be similar to this other book that I can't remember the name of. But it is fantastic, highly enjoyable. I don't know what's going on. I did not read the synopsis. I often don't, so I apologize for that. Often I won't know a lot about a book before going into it, so I cannot typically say this book is about blah, 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 unless I'm reading the summary to you myself. But I can tell you as I'm reading it, or listening to it, is enjoyable. She and her husband have both got past and secrets that they're keeping from one another, but yet holding each other to their secrets, aggressively so, but yet still trying to survive as a couple. One doesn't know that the other knows their potential secrets, and I'm curious how that's going to unfold. Really, really a great hook line here. I've enjoyed this one greatly. My goal this year is also, or this month rather, is to try to read some more books that aren't so TikTok famous. I was going to do an entire month of books off of TikTok, no TikTok books, no recommendations off TikTok. Just happens to be a book that I found fascinating. Books Are Sick with Nick. He's fantastic for reading fiction books. And I think that's kind of what draws me into him, is that he reads books that aren't just so publicly known. And I'm really getting more and more drawn to that. And that's kind of sad because of all the fantasy books I read, they just happen to be extremely popular TikTok books. But this month I decided, okay, we're going to try to go off of that a little bit, kind of stray a little bit, but we'll come back always. The next book is The Ghostwriter by Philip Roth. I had said last month I was going to read this. It was on my TBR, did not make it, because I actually pushed pretty darn good last month and I was just booked up. Ha ha ha. Anyway, that was actually coincidental. I did not write that in. But yeah, 177 pages. There's no reason not to throw this in. It is on Libby and audiobook, so I can do immersion reading or I can just go audiobook all in. Finish this up in a few hours, to tell you the truth. But it looks too good to not give it my true focus, so I'll probably end up reading it. It is a writer. He's going to his hero's home to work on a project and learn a few things, but just some other events go along with this interaction, and I'm looking forward to those surprises. So that's all I'm going to say on that. I haven't really dug into the summary for a particular reason, but for when it's a short book, you go into a summary on something like this, you can really spoil it for yourself. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's really small. Okay, so another book that I would like to get into for the month of August, The Blade Itself. I did go ahead and buy the audiobook this week because my credits hit on Audible. It was probably, be honest with you, it's probably available. In fact, I know it is. It's available on my Fort Worth Libby, but I only have a few hours left or a few days left, and it's getting ready to go to someone else because there is a line waiting. So I went ahead and just used one of my credits. I do the 2 credits a month on Audible because it's almost the same cost of what one used to be. The pricing structure has changed. So if you haven't visited Audible, this isn't sponsored and I don't have an affiliate link or anything like that. It's just truly letting you know that their prices have shifted. Definitely check it out. I'll also listen to a book that if I know it's less than 15 hours, I'll go to Spotify and listen to an audiobook there. And that is included with my monthly membership. And then, oh my gosh, Amazon Music gives you one book. It doesn't matter what the length of that book is. And I love that. To be honest with you, if I didn't love Spotify so much, I would probably switch to Amazon Music just for that feature because it doesn't matter. It's not your book to own, but neither is Audible really. Yeah, you pay for it, but if their app ever shuts down, you lose all your books unless they figure out a way to allow you to download the books you've paid for. But yeah, Amazon Music has just the one book, no time limit, a month, and I absolutely love that. So this one is going to be a combo read for sure. It is over 492 pages, so I'm actually pleasantly surprised. It's not as long as it looks. But I'm very, very excited about this book. It is a book that I do not know a lot about, and I am very much looking forward to getting onto this one. I've put it off way too long. I did do the sample of the audiobook, pleasantly surprised with the narration, and cannot wait to get on this one. Okay, the next book that I would like to hit in the month of August, but may end up being September, October, November, December, somewhere in the last part of the year, would be the first book in the Mistborn saga. I am completely enamored with the fact that Robin Hobb did a little blurb on it, which Brandon Sanderson and Robin Hobb get along fantastically, like family it appears, and I cannot wait to get in this one. I have heard so much about this being one of the books that you probably should start if you're going to start Brandon Sanderson, and I am still kind of new to Brandon Sanderson, where I cannot say that I am an expert on Brandon Sanderson's books. There are some YouTubers I follow that are, and I am really looking forward to Mistborn. I put this one off for way too long. It's beautiful. I gave my husband a different cover of this one that I had picked up for myself. I think it was a UK version, but it was really cool. Now that I've given it to him, I'm kind of like, wish I kept that. But this one is so pretty too that I'm like fine with it as well. And I've read like the Yumi and the Nightmare Painter. I can't remember the full name of the wizard one. It's back here somewhere, but I've read that one. In fact, I think it's right here. I've read that one, and I've read Tress. So as you can tell, I'm not an expert. I want to get on Elantris, but I think Mistborn is first, and then maybe Elantris. I might even put Elantris in somewhere throughout the year, actually, because that one has called me for a long time. I was supposed to read it in December with my husband as a buddy read, and we didn't do it. We failed, but we did read some other things together, and it was fun. So I can't complain. Another one I'm going to hit this year, Bone Shard's Daughter. I started this in audiobook roughly 2 years ago when I lived in North Carolina, and I caught myself daydreaming. It wasn't the book's fault. I just had a lot going on. So I had to put the book to the side. When I start daydreaming to an audiobook, it's now set me off to where even if I try to pick it up and read it, it won't click. And someone said it the other day, and it's so true. I enjoy reading a little bit before I go into the audiobook so that I'm truly invested before going to the audiobook. And I didn't do that with this, so I didn't give it a fair shake, knowing my habits. But very excited. Don't know anything about that one. The next one I want to get to, and before we do, you may hear my cat outside the door screaming. She doesn't like being closed in, but doesn't like being closed out. So we got to put up with that. So I apologize if all of a sudden you hear her crying. Okay, the next book on this list is The Rage of the Dragons, Evan Winter. Many people recommend this series. It feels like people don't like all of the books. I don't really know if it's 2 or 3 currently, but it doesn't seem like it's 100% 5-star series out there, but it does feel like it's a strong 4. So I'm very much looking forward to this one. Again, I don't know anything about it. And that is the downside of when I'm saying I want to hit a book, is I can't tell you what the book is about because I don't read the summaries. Unless I will do videos sometimes where I'm like, this is coming out in this month, and then I will run through the summary with you. But typically if it's a book I've picked up just for myself, I don't do that. This one is a little over 500 pages. So this is another reason why I have set my goal this year to only 30, because I wanted to read some bigger books. I wanted to get to this series. We'll see. We'll see this year if I get into this one. It would only be book 1 probably. My husband has read the entire series this year in 5 months. Really just like how fast he can read. But, I digress. We'll move on. He had finished it. Kind of like what I'm seeing with everyone else out there. They're going to need the rest of the books to feel fantastic about it, but absolutely love it where it's headed. I think it's going to be a 7 or 9 book series, if I remember correctly. I think 9. I'm scared of it, I'll be honest. So we're not going to announce that is this year, but it's in the back of my head. The next book on this year's potentials is The Shadow of the Gods. I've had this one for a while, and it's really time to get on this one. This is book 1. Again, trying to get that TBR down, that physical TBR down before going crazy anymore. There's potentials of buying more books this year, and so I need to kind of make some room too, and it's getting to where I almost can now make some room because I've really nailed some books off my shelf this year, but I want to get some more off my shelf. This one's around 500 pages, 482. It is definitely a very strong potential for this year. I know Elliot Brooks liked this series, and so many other YouTubers have liked this series. So again, it has that vibe out there that people are saying roughly a 4.5, not necessarily a 5-star series, but I am very much looking forward to getting on this one. I am, my interest is piqued. We're down at the bottom of the stack. These were mostly my potentials of what I wanted between August and the end of the year. Obviously, this whole stack will not become my TBR for August. I would literally not be able to do anything else. And I can say that school may start this year for me. I just got accepted into UNT, University of North Texas. And if I decide to accept August 18th or January, whenever my start date becomes, I'm going to be very busy. So I'm not sure where these TBRs will land for me and how many I will hit. And that will be another video of which books did I actually hit off of my TBR for the second half of the year. And I'm very excited to see if I can stick to this TBR. You guys, I want to thank you for being here. Don't forget to hit subscribe. Comment what you're reading right now, what your TBR is looking like. And we will talk in the next video. Happy reading. Bye.